So, I've done some pretty impromptu videos in my time, but none more so than this. We're actually down here at the bunker filming a different video today, as it happens, about this GT3. However, just had a text from my Porsche dealer who has said he's found me a slot for a 992 GT3. Mind blown, first of all. Second of all, it's a PTS slot. And third of all, he needs it submitted by 1 p.m. We need to spec this car right now. And I thought, you know what, why not just take you along for the ride, skim through it. I won't beat around the bush. I've probably been on the configurator 12, 14, maybe 20 times since this car was officially announced. So I do have a pretty decent idea of what I would have spec'd if a slot came through. Remarkably, it has. However, PTS was never on the radar at all. So what I think I'm gonna do is take you through how to spec a GT3, or how I would spec a GT3, but I'm gonna save the PTS for probably when the car arrives. Speaking of new car, here is an awesome opportunity to potentially win one from our sponsor Omaze and help a fantastic cause while you're at it. So, we have partnered up with Omaze to support the Make-A-Wish Foundation and give you the opportunity to win a 2021 Bentley Bentayga V8 and $20,000. So I actually recently had the privilege of sharing the new Bentley Bentayga on this channel, and what a machine that is. 4-litre twin turbocharged V8 developing 542 horsepower and 568 pounds-feet of torque with a top speed of 180 miles an hour. It is, of course, all-wheel drive with Bentley's seamless shift 8-speed automatic and capable of towing over 7,700 pounds. And while the driving dynamics are fantastic, for me, Bentleys are all about the interior experience, and Bentley has some of the best interiors in the world. The new infotainment system features a 10.9-inch touchscreen, the seats are heated and cooled, and not only do you have a screen in the front, but passengers also have screens for controlling their comfort in the back, and no matter where you're sat, you'll always be surrounded by stunning handcrafted materials. But importantly, you'll be helping the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Now, for 40 years, Make-A-Wish has brought transformational wishes to more than 330,000 children and families. But for every wish they grant, there are 3 more children with critical illnesses who really need your help. So, hit the link in the description below. You could win a new Bentayga, $20,000, and help grant a wish to a very special child. We're starting off on the configurator. Now, Porsche have really upgraded their game here. The way this has evolved since Porsche started allowing configurators online is dramatic. What hasn't evolved actually on the configurator in the UK, at least, is the other color options available. You'll notice we've got standard colors. So standard colors are, as the price would indicate, actually free. So of those 4, which are white, which is like a sort of blank plain white, plain flat black, plain flat guards red, and plain flat racing yellow. Then we've got all of the other optional extra colors, which are metallics. Now, of all of the metallics, the brightest one is gentian blue, which my 992 Turbo S is spec'd, and that's not, if you watch the channel regularly, a particularly bright blue. So weirdly, all of the metallic colors are fairly neutral palette, quite dark. Those are £876 each. And then you have the special colors, £2,525 each, of which they get much brighter. So we've got the new launch color, which is shark blue. We have crayon, which funnily enough, we are sat on a crayon GT3 right now, so that gives you a very good idea of how that looks. Lava orange and python green, £2,500 each. Now, I don't know how you would spec a car, but the color is a fundamental platform game changer. Where you start with this, hence why Porsche are very cleverly featured colors at the top here, pretty much dictates the rest of the options on the car. Now, before I got the option of PTS and I was still in dreamland, I was going for guards red. So I'm going to be pretty transparent and upfront that if I did get a slot, it would have been guards red. And so I'm going to lock this in and then submit the color that I ultimately want the car to end up being. So, guards red. Now then, we're going to go down to the wheels. There's a new staggered setup on GT3. That means there's 21 inch at the rear, 20 at the front. That's a first for a GT3 product. That used to be only reserved for GT3 RS. Now, there are various options here. We've got satin black, which is actually I mean, that's spot on, isn't it, really? that is awesome. We've got satin black with the rim, borders painted in shark blue. Probably not applicable at all with this particular car unless you're feeling lively. But just to give you an idea of what that looks like, see if you just zoom in on those wheels there, that is what they look like with a contrasting rim. If you were going to do it, obviously you would contrast it with Guards Red like so, and I think that makes a lot more sense. As it happens, I'd probably end up going just for the satin black wheel. One thing which I would love to show you, because I would heavily consider this, and during my time speccing it fictitiously over the last few days, satin neodyme, which is, to me and you, gold. On this Guards Red, it looks so good. The only reservation I have right now, we've got Guards Red body color, and on the standard steel brakes, they come with red brake calipers, which matches with Guards perfectly. When you swap to carbon ceramic brakes, by default, the calipers are yellow, and it's an optional cost to go for a black brake caliper. Now, yellow against gold for me, against red, is a bit of a harsh contrast. So if you went for carbon brakes, for me, I would spec black calipers. So for the time being, I'm going to go back to satin black, and that way when we go for the standard yellow brakes shortly, it should still be fairly in keeping. Now then, interior colors and seats. If we just jump to the interior, look at the shape of this thing, isn't it stunning? So this is the standard seat. We've got the option of a crayon or GT silver stitch contrasting. We've got the red, and you can see it subtly change on the screen here, and we have the blue. Now obviously it goes without saying that you're probably going to only want to spec your shark blue stitch if you've got a shark blue exterior, not a Guards Red exterior, or perhaps something a bit more neutral like a agate grey, something like that. For the time being, I'm going to leave it as GT silver stitch, and all importantly, we're going to drop down to one of the more wallet raiding optional extras, which is the full bucket seats. These things are absolutely gorgeous. We do have a set of these in this car. I shall splice in some B-roll now to show you what those things look like, but really from a GT3 experience, these are a game changer. And for me personally, I'm planning on using this car a lot on circuit, which we'll get around to the fundamental spec of this car as to why that dictates things quite substantially shortly. So, Guards Red, silver stitching, full bucket seats, either carbon, lightweight, spot on. Now then, individual options. Equipment packages. Club Sport package. This is, well, as it would suggest, you can see right here, roll cage in the back. We've also got a few other things here. So we've got bolt-in steel roll cage, black at rear, including reinforcements. Supplied, ready to install is the lightweight Motorsport handheld fire extinguisher. We'll touch on that shortly, with aluminium bracket and 6-point racing harnesses. Now that is the reason why I will be going for that, because I really want to use this as a track car. My current GT3, which we're standing by and speccing on right now, is a lot more of a sort of road bias spec. There's no cage, and that means you can't really have a harness, and therefore you're not wearing a hands device. So when you're going pretty swift on track, it's just good to feel a part of a car with a hands on, heaven forbid anything went wrong. So we're going full Club Sport package. Fire extinguisher, sorry. This is a bit of an odd one because I also use these cars for road trips, and as you can see just there, you might not be able to tell, but they take up a pretty substantial amount of space in the passenger side footwell. Doesn't sound like a big deal, sounds like a bit of a first world problem actually, but on a road trip, particularly in my line of work where we've got camera gear all over the place, particularly in the footwell and for the passenger, you find after a while your feet are sort of off center, and you end up finding that that particular large fire extinguisher is in the way. I don't know if the smaller ones which tuck underneath the seats are available, so I'll just have to ask Porsche. So for now, I'm not going to go for that. Exterior. Now then, first time on a GT3, exposed carbon lightweight roof. Let me just see if we can render this up for you on here. There you go, top-down view. That whole central section there, which is black here, all of that is now the option to have it exposed carbon fiber. It's a pretty steep optional extra. What I particularly like about it from an aesthetic point of view is you'll notice on the car that there's so much black contrasting sections. So all of this front splitter here is black contrasting. We've got inside the headlights, black on these vents, black underneath the wing mirrors, black wheels, black tires, end plates and swan neck wing mounts, all black. I actually think it works tying it in with a black roof here. Not everyone agrees from the comments I've seen, but also fundamentally it's a slight reduction in weight going from standard roof to carbon fiber. I like it. It's a bit of a steep option, but I think we should probably tick it. Exterior mirrors painted in exterior color. If I tick that, you will see that the underneath of the mirror, just here, that will, yes, so just like that, that's gone Guards red. I actually like it, going back to the contrast black theme, of keeping that not ticked, which is good because that's £380. So I like that. That for me ties in really well with, as I mentioned, all of this black section here. So untick that one. Porsche logo LED door courtesy lights. These are kind of a bit of a luxury. When you open your door at night, it projects a Porsche logo on the floor there. Don't really need that. Let's have a look at this then. Model designation on doors in black. Now the last time I tried to render this, it didn't show on the actual preview, but that is effectively what that is there. It just puts a subtle little GT3 symbol there, and you can have that in all sorts of different shades. I actually quite like that. Going back to the contrasting black theme, I think I'm probably gonna go for that. You can have it in all sorts of different shades. I'm gonna tick for black. Ultimately, for a set of stickers, 147 quid is fairly expensive, but there you go. And you can also get those graphics in silver, red, aurum, which is gold, and you can have all sorts of different motorsport inspired stickers as well. Not really a fan of those. Look, you can have these stripes that run the length of the car. That, for me personally anyway, is more of a GT3 RS style product. And again, you can have these in all sorts of shades. Like you can have them gold, red, which obviously red on red, not great. Decorative Porsche side logo in black. What is that? On the skirts? No, thank you. We'll skip that, skip that, skip that. They're quite expensive, aren't they, for a set of stickers? 270 quid. Not ideal. Right, what have we got now? Model designation painted in exterior color. I actually prefer that in black. What it does is effectively disguise, like, the fact that you have a GT3 badge on the back of it, but you still have a GT3 badge on the back. It's a funny one, that. I think if you want to go to the extent of disguising your GT3 badge, you probably just take it off, right? I think I'd leave that black. Once again, complements the contrasting black theme quite nicely. Anyway, exclusive design fuel filler cap. Let's not beat around the bush. With these cars, you interact with the fuel filler cap quite a lot. It is £93, but what it swaps out is a standard black plastic cap for this lovely sort of aluminium, detailed, curved, beautiful looking fuel filler cap. And I think that's nice, considering that really you're going to be filling this thing up a lot. Quite a nice thing to interact with. And I think actually if you compare that with the price of some stickers, £93 for like a solid piece of engineering versus 270 quid earlier for some stickers, I'm okay with that. What else have we got here? Paint protection foil matte black. That just sits on the rear arches, I think, just to reduce stone chips on impact zones. But that's it. It literally just sits there. Let's see if we can get this to render up. Look at the side profile on that. What a thing. Oh, there we are, look. The little GT3 badges have loaded up just there. I actually really like that. Subtle, but nice badge. What else have we got? So yeah, there we are, look. Those are the high impact zone sort of PPF, which they are referring to. If you know the channel well, you'll know that I got the paint protection side of things covered. So we will skip that option right there. Drivetrain and chassis. Now this is the whole thing. This, for me, forms the platform of the car as much as the color did earlier. And it's a big question: 7-speed twin clutch gearbox or 6-speed GT Sports manual transmission. Now, truthfully, if I didn't have this car, and a very quick backstory with this car, my ownership of this is approaching 2 years. And the plan is that I want to achieve 100,000 miles in this car. Now this is a 6-speed manual. So for me to spec another GT3 in manual might not give, even though it is a vastly enhanced car, it still won't give as much of a different driving experience as the 7-speed twin clutch might. So I'm gonna go for 7-speed twin clutch, also keeping in mind that I'm very much looking forward to giving this the full send on track as well. So 7-speed for me, this is my manual baby, so I'm in no rush. Sport chrono package. I like this, particularly in this car. Look at the detail of the clock on the dash. But what is cool, and going back to this being predominantly a track car for the channel, is the results of your track day can be analyzed and compared on the smartphone using the Porsche Track Precision app offered as standard. So if you have that, you can then download your data, share lap times, share average speeds, etc. And I just think for what I'm doing, and considering I also share everything to do with cars online, I think to be able to download that data and share it will be a pretty cool experience. Now then, this is a big bill. This is where things jump from expensive to really expensive. Porsche carbon ceramic brakes, or Porsche ceramic composite brakes, as Porsche officially call them. They abbreviate them to PCCB. £6,498, sir. Good Lord. They're just fantastic though. Not only are they dramatically lighter than the standard steels, they reduce the unsprung mass, they improve the handling and dynamics of the car. They obviously are also connected to effectively the suspension system of the car, so it reduces the amount of weight that the suspension has to react to. Also, from an aesthetic and car care point of view, ceramic brakes give off way less brake dust than steels. So the side of your car or around the wheel area will stay cleaner. And also Porsche have designed a fantastic 22-21-inch forged lightweight alloy wheel, and it would be a shame to etch into those with hot track day brake dust. So that's my logic for why they are worth that much. They are actually great on track too. Now, just going back to it quickly, I'm going to give you a side view here. This is what I was talking about earlier, where if you had the gold wheels, it might be quite a contrast to have gold, yellow, red car. There is now a new option where you can go for, and it's another £500 to turn your brake calipers from yellow to black. Now, the black is actually really cool. For some reason, the Porsche system takes a little bit of time to render. There you go. All of a sudden, we've got the black brake calipers. Now, if you can imagine that with the gold wheels, it really just reduces the impact of all of those pretty predominant colors getting in the way of each other. For the spec I'm going for right now, sans PTS of course, so the next time you see this car in reality, it's probably going to have changed a bit. I'm just going to go back to those standard ceramics with the yellow brake calipers. It's also saving £500. Good Lord. Now then, front axle lift system. This also is an obnoxious amount of money. The thing is, these cars ride really low, and in 99% of situations, yes, it adds a bit of weight to the car, but it's not a track-only car. This is something that you're going to use as well in normal life and coming off in and out of petrol station forecourts, underground car parks. The drive to my family's house, for example, is pretty steep, and getting up there in this car, if I don't use the nose lift, it makes a pretty painful sound, so I would add that. One of the reasons that it's quite expensive, £2,214, is that the headlights adapt to the pitch of the nose. So if you think about it, when you raise the nose up, the headlights go up with it. So in order to avoid your headlights pointing at the sky when it's dark, they automatically flatten themselves out, so you're still able to see where you're driving. So there is a little bit of justification there in terms of how much this optional extra is. Now then, lighting and vision. LED main headlights, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, if you're going to upgrade to headlights, LED main headlights with matrix beam, including Porsche dynamic light system in black. Tick. These things are sculpturally beautiful. Look at that. I love how they go completely black on the inside basin there of the light well, as it were. It's all dark chrome. And on the front of the car, once again, going back to how much black contrasting sections there are on this car, it just settles it all off, doesn't it? It just irons it out, removes any chrome, and I think it settles into that more mean, menacing look just a little bit more. Tying in with the lights, let's just go to the exclusive design tail lights. This effectively changes the tail lights from red to smoked out black. It just looks so good. I'm gonna bring it up here. Look, see, all of this gets blacked out. It's gorgeous. And then at nighttime, of course, that blacked out section just has one of the most beautiful full width rear LED light bars. They're so impactful. Tinted glazing for rear side windows and rear screen. For the time being, I'm gonna leave that blank. The guys at MVN London will be able to do that for me if I want it once the car arrives, and it also will stop there being an imbalance from day one of having just the back window blacked out and these side windows normal. So for the time being, let's leave that like that. Comfort and assistance, park assist, rear reversing camera. I find that incredibly useful on this car. Not that it's a particularly big car, but if you were to have a bit of a scuff or a scrape on something, it's not the obvious stuff that you want to see, it's the stuff that you can't see, like little posts sticking up on random car parks and things like that would really suck, because what you can't get for GT3s is parking sensors. So yeah, it seems daft that you wouldn't want to tick an option to see where you're going in reverse, just in case. I could tell you something, if you did crack in to a post or something with the rear of one of these, it's gonna cost you more than £876 to get it fixed. Traffic sign recognition can be good for countries you're not familiar with to understand what speed you should be doing in a certain zone, so that's quite cool. Seat heating, I know I can't have that with the carbon seats. Vehicle key painted in exterior color with leather key pouch. I'm gonna speak with the dealership about this because I know with PTS you can't always have that done. So I'm gonna inquire about it and see what's what, but it would be so cool if you could have a PTS key matching the PTS car, wouldn't it? That'd be great. Oh, here we are, look, fire extinguisher. This is the one I was speaking about, look. So, to me, it makes a lot more sense to have the smaller fire extinguisher that sits just underneath the seat, which frees up all of your legroom in the footwell here. So I think, considering it's track car, I'm gonna add that extinguisher, and we're gonna remove the fire extinguisher. Here you go, look, that comes with the Club Sport package, and it is no extra cost. So I definitely sooner have the smaller one down there. Belts and guards, red. No, I'm cool to have everything on the inside, pretty chilled. 6-point racing harness for passenger. Yep, got to keep the passenger safe when we're on full send around the ring. Interior leather, none at all. Thank you, sir. Interior race tech. So race tech, for everyone who might not be familiar, is effectively Porsche's own version of Alcantara. It's almost indistinguishable, but I don't actually know this for a fact, but I assume that they were doing so much of their own volumes of Alcantara that they thought, you know what, it's probably worth us investing in our own material here, and so they did. And basically, I would like to tick as many options here as I could to swap anything that would otherwise be plastic or potentially leather in race techs, including things like belt outlet trims. So it seems a small deal, but where your seatbelt exits out of the B pillar can sometimes be surrounded in fairly cheap looking plastic. It makes a really big difference just having that wrapped in Alcantara. Might sound crazy, but when I've seen them with and without, these little details add up to a different experience. So yes, we're gonna go for the Racetech's interior. Now then, what else have we got here? Storage compartment lid, that's the armrest, Alcantara, or should I say Racetech's. Interior carbon, yes, that's all I'll say. Do you know what? Some of the options on here, you might look at these and go, these are crazy expensive. In the world of Ferrari, you'd be paying this interior carbon package here, high gloss, £926. A lot of money, don't get me wrong. For a spot of context, in a Ferrari, the carbon fiber driver zone, which basically puts some carbon fiber on your wheel, on the dashboard in front of you, and I think on the control tunnel where you put the car into park neutral reverse launch control, £5,000, sir. So thanks for coming. So I don't feel entirely shafted at £926 for the very similar equivalent in a Porsche. Audio and communication, there's only one option, which is Bose. Once again, you spend a lot of time in these cars to and from race circuits. No race circuits ever close to home, and I listen to a lot of podcasts and metal and stuff, so turn it up to 11, man. And then everything else, pretty much all of this stuff, equipment, accessories, such a branded term, isn't it? Tech equipment, that's technical equipment to you and I, things like spanners and decorative valve sleeves and things like that. Nothing exciting at all. You can get, if you're in a country which so requires and you want to use your GT3 in the winter, a duplicate set of your gorgeous 21-inch GT3 wheels for the winter. So you can save one set for the summer and put some winter tires on. Yeah, perhaps in the Alps, but not here in the UK, thankfully. What else have we got? Interior, all weather floor mats. Now we're just getting to all of the accessories that you basically don't need. Cared accessories, nah, charging kits and things like that. Highlights. Porsche chronograph. This is something, don't worry, I'm not ordering this. This is a watch that was launched to complement and celebrate the new GT3. It's a Porsche design chronograph. I'm going to bring up the one in shark blue because I think that represents the launch car the most. Look at that. It is very cool. It is a beautiful watch. I really like that on the back, look, they have, look at that. That is the new lightweight forged alloy represented in the display case back of the watch. It is very cool. It is also very 10 grand. Yeah, we'll be opting out of that, but well, actually it's not quite 10 grand. 9,390 you'll find a sterling pound, sir. So yeah, that's where we're at. Now, I hope you enjoyed that. Just as a quick overview, the price for that equipment, good God, is £23,500, sir. Sounds absolutely insane when you say it like that. Once again, I'm going to take it back to Ferrari again now. If you want a triple layer paint, like a Rosso Fuoco on your 458 Speciale, sir, that was £20,000 for the paint. So I'm not detracting from the fact that that is a loaded spec and it's pretty steep. But the thing that I always come back around to with Porsche is, particularly GT products, they hold their value pretty well, particularly if you're fortunate enough to get one of these rare build slots and you don't absolutely dump on the mileage, hence me wanting to keep this thing because it's just not a good idea to sell this one at 31,000 miles now. But the options in comparative worlds actually aren't that bad. And I think that's why when they first hit the market in the early life cycle of the cars, they go for silly premiums because the value of them is still good. So this car in total is coming out at £146,638. I have to apply PTS cost on top of that, which is around about 5,000. I think I need to check that. And then from here on out, I've been told that the car will be here in either June or July based on the availability of the PTS slot. So that's where we're at. Now, I just thought I would run this through you. It sounded quick, and I'm going to check this over again once I finish, because I'm not joking. The dealer was like, you need to submit this today, like now. So that's what I'm doing. I was here filming, got the text and thought, do you know what? This might be quite a good impromptu video. I wouldn't have been able to do it that quick if I hadn't have run through this configurator, honestly, like 14, 15 times over the last few days on the just in case scenario. But fantastic news. We're going to be sharing GT3 content with you, new 992 GT3 content with you this year. I'm going to play the PTS color close to my chest right now. It may or may not be a version of this red. Let's see. But super excited. I would love to hear from you. Please leave your questions and comments in the section below. Let me know what you think, what you would like to see on the journey, on the road to 992 GT3. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and we shall see you next time. Ciao!